Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Walking Dead recap Wednesday, the official last Walking Dead recap Wednesday of all time.
Of all time. Somebody said in the chat, I didn't realize, nigga, we've been here for 12 years.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I know.
But we haven't recapped it the whole 12 years, but remember, I think we started in like season 2 or 3, but yeah, we've been watching this show.
Yeah, I think we started season 2.
Seasons.
I think the first season we actually just did like a show and kind of recap like what had happened, because I think you started.
We did an off-season review.
Yes, that's what we did. Okay, so it's behind the paywall. Okay, so we did like an off-season review of season 1, and then we actually started doing it kind of weekly. Started with season 2. So if you're premium and you actually love us recapping this, you can actually go back and listen to like us covering all of the Walking Dead.
Yeah,
the regular Walking Dead, not none of the spinoffs, except for Fear, and we'll be picking that back up because this is last season of Fear too.
Yeah, but let's not get into all details about all that. Let's just say welcome to the last one. I hope you're ready. We're ready.
Yes.
This episode was called. The official weapon of the show is
the folding chair,
and the unofficial sport Boulevard Extreme. Leave us 5-star reviews, yada yada yada. Show notes, buy merch, all that cool stuff that you can do. Do it. We appreciate y'all for doing that. We can go ahead and start talking about the show now. So this is episode 177, episode 24 of season 11, directed by, of course, Greg Nicotero. Is Rest in Peace is the title. The story was by Angela Kang.
Come on.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And we'll probably get this to the end when we get to the end, but shout out to Angela Kang, because in my opinion, she resalvaged the show. I don't mean no harm, like, because it was to the point where you was like, okay. And me and Roger actually started watching the show and went back and read the comic books. And so it's one of my favorite comic books. I absolutely love it. And I really do enjoy the adaptations and things like that they have done to it. And honestly, the TV show is a better version of The Walking Dead than the comics. Now, I love the comics, but it's just some things that you can do on TV that you can't do in the comics and vice versa. And so I appreciate Angela Kang for actually taking things and speeding things up and taking out a lot of things that we didn't need. And so I think once she took over, the pace of the show sped up, and I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I really think it's sad that so many seasons went by that, people didn't like, people hopped off. I get it. I'm not saying, but it's sad because I really think it became a much better show under Angela Kang as a showrunner. I think she just got the critiques that people were having issues with. And, it's kind of like once that water's been spilled, you can't pick it back up. So a lot of people were never just going to come back. But that didn't make the show bad to me. I really think she, especially in this episode, whether it be Greg Nicotero or Angela Kang who did the story, there's so many, I don't think so. But there's so many touches that Angela Kang, I think, put in this script that make characters have full circle moments.
Was he just showing up before something?
Yes.
Okay.
So I he was the more slow it down. I think he was at the helm when they were, to me, milking episodes, making things that should have been one episode into 2 and 3 hour and a half episodes that didn't have an hour and a half worth of storytelling.
Agreed.
Things like that. But I don't want to harp on anything negative. Anyway, let's talk about this episode. Rest in Peace. Let me play the theme song. Now, this whole thing happens down at the Commonwealth.
One location.
I think we get like a little bit of Alexandria near the end, but it's basically one location. And we started immediately where we left off.
Yes, we did.
Judith was shot. Daryl was trying to get her to the hospital so she could be treated. Zombies are flooding the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth soldiers are not even hunting our crew anymore. They've been instructed to abandon everyone to in the lower wards and only defend the estates, which is the rich part of town.
Yep.
And so they're just picking up stakes and moving the fuck out of there and leaving everybody to fend for themselves.
Yep.
Which means it's our crew versus the most fucking zombies I've ever seen on this show.
Yep. And this is all the mayor's fault.
The governor.
All the governor's fault. Because she created this, and it's something that she did all the time, but this time it just happened to get out of control.
Yep. You can't play with a natural disaster. So they make it to the hospital. Daryl's taking Judith and he's carrying her, and we see it through her hazy vision. Judith sees Daryl, like she sees some soldiers taking supplies out of the hospital. You see like Daryl go around the corner and get knocked the fuck out somehow.
Yeah, I didn't realize at the time. I didn't realize he got knocked out. He just went down. So I was like, did they fuck him up? Like, what is happening here?
Someone got the drop on him something. They didn't kill him, but they knocked him out. Now, the soldiers leave. The hospital's unprotected. They're not like locking doors and make sure everybody's safe inside. They're like, fuck the people in the hospital. Fuck everybody.
Right. Fuck the people that might be in ICU or need any medical attention. They on their own.
Yeah, should have went to the rich hospital.
Right.
And so Judith motherfucking Michonne Grimes.
She a goddamn G, ain't she?
She gets up off of her deathbed where she's fucking bleeding out.
She was like, wait a minute, something wrong. I got to move.
She, in her haze, she like tries to close the doors so the zombies won't get to her and Daryl.
Bitch with one arm.
She's been shot in the shoulder. She's bleeding. She closes the door, pushes a desk in front of the door to keep the walkers from getting in with all the strength she can summon, and then she passes the fuck out. And
right beside Daryl. They both out.
Oh, this girl. Just a real one.
A real G, a real champ. And the thing about her, I actually love her spirit, because she is like, what you not gonna do is count me out. That's what you ain't gonna do.
It's the spirit that she got from Lori and her father Shane,
Yes,
because
it is.
If it was two things the motherfuckers had in spades, it was audacity.
Yes, they did.
She used all the audacity in their DNA to summon up that strength. So then we get a long montage sequence. That is the the open where they play the theme song. Except in this case, they really show every location that they've ever based the season in. So we see like the prison, we see Hilltop,
every intro.
We see everything. It was really cool.
It
really
was because I was like, the music sound. I was like, oh, that's why the music sound different, because the music would sound different according to the season. So they kind of did a medley of them all and blended them all together. It was beautiful.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even pick up on the music change. I just knew it was longer than normal.
Okay.
Gabe and crew, we cut back to them. They're still in the alley fighting walkers, and this motherfucking show got on a roll. This episode, they say it's the last one. We going all out.
Yes, we are.
So they killing walkers. Jules, Luke's girlfriend, gets bit on the arm. Luke tries to save her. He gets bit on the leg. The zombies drag Jules away and eat her.
Yes, they do. I was like, and he was screaming. I was like, baby, I don't think you're going to be able to save her.
And we're at that point where, our crew knows what to do. Someone gets bit on the arm or leg. You cut the arm or the leg off. If you get to it in time, the person has a chance to live. But they just did that with Lydia. And for me, I'm like, you not finna do that for everybody. No. Some of these motherfuckers been there to die. So Jules seemed like she was gonna get the arm treatment, and then the zombie said, no. We want the full buffet.
Oh, you can eat, bitch, and it's you.
They went to town on her. They put yeast rolls in their purse and left the buffet.
Yes, they did.
Some extra jewels.
They got the ice cream. They went to the dessert bar.
Then they bit, like I said, they bit Luke's leg. His crew, because you can't forget, and this is one of, like I said, the little notes in this episode that was so great. Luke's crew was that crew of Yumiko, Connie, Kelly, Magna, and so
all of them. They knew what to do. They was like, come on, sir.
Well, it's not about them knowing what to do. That's not my point. They grabbed him and pulled him off. It was specific that it was those people. There's a shit ton of people over here fighting. Maggie's here, Negan's here, all these people. these are the little touches to the episode that made me be like, craft.
Yes.
Give us poetic license. Give us that symmetry. You know what I mean? So like his folks being the ones that grab him. Jules is from Oceanside. They don't really know her from a can of paint. Not that they didn't want her to live, but
right.
they were gonna take care of their man. So they grab him up to take him to the hospital. We get a once again great storytelling. We get a flash forward basically to Daryl waking up in the hospital. He's in a hospital bed, meaning enough time has passed for someone to have put him in a hospital bed and him to wake up on his own. He wakes up. We see Luke is in there. His leg has been cut off. His crew is around him: Magna, Connie, Kelly, and Yumiko.
The look of concern on their face, they was like, look, they have actually, this team has held tough for a few seasons. They all showed up together and they have all survived together, even though they're a small piece of a larger group. But this particular crew, they went through shit separate from our crew, and so their closeness is different than our crew's closeness.
I want to say it's different, but yeah, it's they're tight is what I'm saying.
Yes,
our crew is tight, they're tight. And this felt like an insular moment for them, like, and I love that it wasn't violated by like, you know, Carol or Maggie or Negan, somebody coming over there to say something. They understood this was their chance to say goodbye to this man, because you know, he was doing that final, you know, you could tell he was gonna die because he started doing them like, you know, them deaf, you know, that black acting school shit.
It's Hollywood's first black acting school. It teaches you everything.
He was giving us full like, Jules, oh no, he was crying and shit, and then he was like, oh, I see the light, I'm going into the light.
Yes,
keep the music alive.
We know it was one of those things where I was like, I can't see him survive. If anything, the way they did it, it was like, oh, I could see him just dying of a broken heart, you know, because in his mind, he was like, what is the kind of the point if she's not here?
They also just didn't have time to do a lot of everybody getting injured, everybody cutting off limbs. So I just figured he was dying. And he passes, and then I believe it's as this is happening, Carol is talking to Daryl, and she's informing him that like Pamela took all the doctors, all the nurses, and all the medicine with her to the gated community. That's why they don't have anything in there to really treat Luke, and they don't have anything really to treat Judith.
And also it was the thing, and when she said that, I was like, because it's a terrible thing altogether. But I was like, they got to sit there, watch their friend die, and they literally can't give him anything to actually, you know, reduce the pain. Like no painkillers, no nothing, nigga.
So Daryl says, okay, well, we need to go to the gated community and fuck up Pamela, get the supplies back. And of course, Carol's like, they got way too many troops up there. We got to find a quieter way in. Daryl says, what if we get Mercer to let us in? Now, they don't know that Pamela had Mercer arrested at this moment.
Right.
But
right, because everybody's kind of been separated.
But Carol's like, Max thinks that could work. So that might be the plan. Meanwhile, Luke is over there dying all slow and shit. And it's like, Yumiko takes his harmonica, and I think she's like, we promise to keep the music alive for you always.
Yes, I think one of them put it out of his pocket. One of the sisters. Yeah.
And then he goes, and then he just dies like a quiet, like fade away death.
I felt so bad.
Like, oh, I'm dead. And then
I'm out.
Magna makes sure he doesn't become a walker by, you know, stabbing him through the head. And I just realized while I was watching this, it's all women in his crew.
Yes.
Kelly, Connie, Magna, and Yumi. That's the only people left. Daryl gives his blood to Judith through an IV, because he knows when he was poor, he used to go down to the blood store and give blood, and he got like type O or whatever the fuck the universal blood giving is. So he was like, you can give some of my blood to Judith and maybe it'll help.
Yes, because basically my ain't shit daddy had us do this basically.
And he was giving blood like standing up like he was standing up like he was the IV. Like he didn't lay in the bed next to her or nothing. And this mattered to me because when we came back, he was still standing. Like we came back to the scene
Oh, he
So
meant
he
that
stood the
thing.
whole time.
Stepdaddy was like, I promised them I was gonna take care of you, and bitch, I'm gonna take care of you.
Mercer, we cut to him in his cell. The cells wherever he's in prison have basically been overrun. There's no security because we see a walker standing outside the door to his cell.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, so I was like, when they meant that, they meant they abandoned everything, probably left all the doors open, all that shit. So when the zombies just basically walking free, so if you in your cell, that's probably the safest place for you to be right now.
Maybe. I mean, it's a slow death. They're not coming back probably, and you starving. Like that's just how little of a fuck they gave about people.
True.
Meanwhile, you hear some guns go off in the background as he's pacing the cell. He gets away from the door because he's like, motherfucking bullet might ricochet in here or something, and the guns are getting closer. And then we hear, baby, get back and cover your head.
Yes!
Princess done came for her man.
Princess, because and also I think they were saying with it, I think they said something about they sent somebody to get him or something like that when they was talking. So I was like, oh, so she volunteered. Princess and the sister was like, we're going to get him.
So Princess and Max come in. Max hugs Mercer, and then him and Princess just hardcore make out.
Yes, they do. Baby, I missed you.
And honestly, man, that's why I always say crazy women get a bad rap. You know, like a sane woman is not coming to the prison fighting off all the zombies to save your ass. She be like, it's practical. It's not practical. Too bad. I'll, whatever. But crazy woman, like, I'm getting my man, and that's what I love about Princess. Don't sleep on it.
Don't count that out. And she meant that thing.
Maggie and Negan load up weapons, and he lets her know while they're like loading up weapons to ride on Pamela as a crew. He's like, my offer still stands that me and you can do this shit together and just get it done.
Right. And not fucking around. We ain't got to drag everybody else in this.
And she says, I'm good. Basically, she don't want nothing to do with his ass. And then we jump forward to something that's important. So Mercer's already back in his orange armor. He's got his troops coming up. Like they're loading boxes of weapons. That like we skipped all the like bullshit and went straight to like it's time to fight.
Yes, and that's what I love about Angela Kane. She's like, what the fuck? We seen what happened. Okay, he dressed, so everybody know that everybody's caught up. Everybody's been informed. Like, why are we dragging this on with some bullshit?
And part of the herd of walkers goes walking by the corner of the building. Mercer gets ready to shoot one. Zeke stops him, and he's like, "No, don't do that." And then and then we find out that it's Aaron. He's in the walker herd. Him and Lydia are still, pretending to be zombies so they can survive. That's how they must have got out of the trailer. Yeah. So Aaron and Lydia,
and they figured out they get into the city, they would eventually cross somebody that could help.
So Aaron and Lydia come over to Zeke. Zeke, of course, asks like, "Where's Elijah and Jerry?" And he's like, "They still out there."
Right, because they don't know.
Right. Somehow they beat them to the city or whatever, or they just in another part of the herd. It's so many. Everyone gets in a transport vehicle and they head to the hospital. Meanwhile, Rosita, Gabe, and Eugene go to the orphanage where they think the children are being kept, where they think Coco is, and the caretakers are all dead.
Yes,
they're either zombies or they got ate by zombies.
Yes, you walked in, the zombies was like, finger looking good. Blood was there with like barbecue sauce, and the zombies was like, "Hey, you want some too?" Carol's
daycare would never, okay,
never.
But they like she might have some kids die, but it won't be because she just let herself get bit. So then Rosita, it's very scary because everyone's dead, and the babies are in there. Now you don't see any dead children, but come on, if the fucking adults are dead, how are the children alive? But we hear a baby cry in the background. So then Rosita runs into the back room, kills like 3 walkers, and gets to Coco and saves her. The reason she was saved because she was in a crib that happened to have like a top to it or something. So I don't know.
It was upside down.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like the caretaker decided to put it upside down to save Like I don't know.
Or if just being a baby may have tumbled over or some shit.
See, I feel like if
that.
it tumbled over, a baby would get fucked up by a crib falling
That's
on
true.
top of them.
And you know what? It may have been one of the adults that put it down and was like, "I'm gonna put you in here. I'll be right back."
That's what I'm saying. Like I wonder if they thought, like zombies are coming. I'll put the baby in the crib and flip it upside down to protect the baby, and then went out there and got bit.
Yeah, I can see the probability of that probably is what happened.
But anyway, they saved Coco, and Gabe is like, smiling because he always had faith they would, and he had faith in Rosita. And then there's just a random baby in there. I don't remember this baby.
No, because this baby just happened to be with Rosita baby, so they're like, we saved one, we got to save the other one too.
So I think Eugene was with them, so Eugene picked up that baby. Then we go back to the hospital. Judah starts to wake up for a little bit. She freaks out because she feels like, I'm going to die. Is this basically, am I dying? And she brings up Michonne's word about we're the ones who live or something like that. And I couldn't really understand her point, to be honest. I rewound it. I know she was trying, later on she alludes to these words as if they're the reason her mom didn't come back. But I'm not making the connection in my memory to when Michonne said this and it meaning that she wasn't coming back. I felt like it meant she was coming back, but
me too.
Whatever. Maybe it's just a child misunderstanding in a haze of blood loss. I don't know.
You never know.
So then Rosita walkie-talkies into the hospital to let them know, hey, we outside in the back in the alley, but we just ran over a shit ton of walkers. Our van is busted.
Yes, like we can't go nowhere. Like literally, they are everywhere. Like, and they're surrounded them,
and they got 2 babies. So then, but the main thing that says like the hospital's about to be overrun. Y'all need to get out of there somehow.
Right? Y'all can't come in here.
And so Daryl and Carol try to wheel Judith out to the front, but then there's too many walkers there. Everybody starts fighting the walkers. They're pushing into the glass windows and stuff in the front of the hospital, and one of them motherfucking variants picks up a rock and starts smashing through the glass partition. Like, these motherfucking variants are a problem.
They are a problem, and I didn't know that. Somebody said there was 2 other babies with Coco. They would say,
2 other babies.
Yeah, like 2 of them were small, and one was like an older child. Okay. And that makes sense. Like they would say, each adult had a baby on the back. Okay,
there you go.
That makes sense.
We saving babies now. Looking like Ben Stiller in the fake movie in Tropic Thunder. Yeah, that's a deep cut. Yeah. The crew has to retreat back further into the hospital because the zombies are breaking in. So they try to head out the back. Take Judah's, of course her bed has wheels on it because the hospital. So they trying to wheel her through, but this walker's in the fucking back hallway.
The walker was like, bitch, you thought.
And while this is happening in the back alley, Eugene and Gabe clear an area behind the van. And they start trying to kill off the zombies and stuff while they carrying babies and shit. And Rosita is trying to protect the babies, Coco. So they get surrounded. They realize we got to go up a pipe on the side of the building and climb in through a window.
I have good core strength because somebody like me probably would not have made it because I can't climb.
Rosita says she gonna go last for some reason. So Eugene and Gabe both make it. Rosita gets almost to the window, and then she just fucking eats it, man. She falls on her back. Luckily, Coco was on her front,
right?
But still, even a fall from that, it's fucking The Walking Dead. Convenient babies, I guess.
Yeah,
she fell. Baby in. Coco probably got CTE now, but it looks like fuck her and that baby just got ate. And I was thinking to myself, I can't believe this show went that dark.
Yes, I was like, what? I ran into the screen. Was like, you got to be kidding me. What?
Yeah, I said, this is the darkest shit they may have ever done.
Right.
A woman, she saved her baby only to be eaten by fucking zombies 5 minutes later. And a beloved character. But wrong, she hopped up. She got her second win. Adrenaline kicked in. She fucking pushed them zombies up off of her, was
and
killing
was
them.
slicing them the fuck up.
Yeah.
She was like, bitch, you thought I came too far with my baby to die right now. If I'ma die, that won't be right now.
Yeah, she had the Glenn plot armor on her.
Yes, she did.
And she used the full effect. And then she jumped on top of the van. From the van, some variant walkers started climbing to the top of the van to try to get her. And she jumped from the van to the window and they pulled her in. Oh my fucking God, that was intense.
It was. It hadn't been that intense in a really long time because this, it's been a long time since they've been in Commonwealth. It's been a long time since you've seen them actually have to, use a lot of their skills and consistently be running and moving around. Our crew is built for that, but it's still one of those things where it's like, oh.
All right, I need to put some music here so that we know where to put a commercial later. All right, now let's get back to it.
Yes.
Later at night, Mercer and Maggie and the whole crew prepare to take down Pamela.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke and Aaron have a quick talk about how they still need to help the people of the Commonwealth. Something Zeke's been consistently on as a character the whole time.
I give him credit. He's been consistent. He was like, they're not our people, but we just can't abandon these people just because, they're not a part of, quote unquote, our crew.
Yeah, he was never going to leave those people. He was going to stay there even if everyone went back to Alexandria.
Right.
So, him and Aaron are agreeing, and it makes sense for Aaron too, because as cynical and bitter as Aaron can be, Aaron is still the dude that went to community to recruit people. So
when we first met him, that was his thing, out there reaching to the masses.
Him and Eric, as a couple doing that, and at his heart, he's still a person that cares about people. So they're like, yeah, we need to make sure there's people stuck on like the second and third floor buildings, and obviously Pamela's doing nothing to help them. We need to do something for them. But first, we need to take care of Judith. She's been shot. We got to get her the medical attention. Mercer's loyal soldier shows up, the black dude, and he's like, listen, Tommy, who's Yumiko's doctor brother, the surgeon, I'll get to that later. But he set up a safe house where they can do surgery and help the wounded. They're going to take Judith there. They take her to the house. Tommy checks her wound and says to Daryl, it's good that y'all gave her blood. And that's why I said, when we had cut to Daryl and he was still standing over her, giving his blood, and you're just like, man, that saved her life, literally.
Yes. And, because we're moving along with time, who knows how long he had been there. And
Right.
he had to be fucking exhausted. And also, in my opinion, I think the biggest reason why he stood up was so it would be a probably continual blood flow.
And so they give Judith surgery, and Zeke assists Tommy in the surgery, which is once again, this is the touch I'm talking about. We saw them set that up last season or earlier in this season, and I remember kind of being like, what? Why does it matter that if Zeke is trying to help them with surgery? That's such a weird thing to throw, like a subplot to put into this, like this show. And now it comes full circle. He immediately is able to assist Tommy to save Judith's life. That's amazing.
Correct. And it was one of those things where they was basically doing like black market surgeries and shit like that. But it's one of those things.
It's all BBLs over there.
Yeah, that's one of the things where him doing that actually mattered when it counted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's great writing. It's great. I really, like I said, I get, y'all over it, Bob, but this shit was so fucking, I love stuff like that because it meant y'all made it matter.
Yes.
It's something that at the time people could have judged harshly, and probably did judge harshly. I don't know what people were saying at the time, but it's the kind of thing people normally shit on, and who cares? And then later you're like, fuck, that was so smart. So I love that he assisted in the surgery. Lydia's arm gets bandaged by Aaron. Aaron, once again, full circle, tells her about phantom limb syndrome. He's had the same thing with his arm. But all she's thinking about is Elijah and Luke. Elijah, and she just is assuming him and Jerry are dead because Luke and Jules died, and she didn't see it, but I think in her mind she's thinking like, see, that's what's gonna happen to Elijah and Jerry. And of course, she has all kinds of trauma and PTSD around losing folks.
Yes.
She's not thinking rationally right now. And she just, she looks, now she does look much better with her face cleaned up. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's like, they have to ugly these people up to do these roles sometimes. And she looked amazing with her face cleared up and stuff. But she sounded like JL Covan talking about his comedy album.
It's gonna die. It's gonna die.
It's like they never gonna come back. It's over already.
It's over already. Why do I even put the effort into it?
Why did you even help save my arm? You made my life and suffering longer. So then Maggie realizes, looking around, she's counting. She's like, wait a minute, where's Negan? She goes outside because she know Negan said, listen, we don't need these niggas. We should do this ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes after him. He's outside with a gun and a go bag, and he's about to leave.
He was like, you thought it was bullshit, and I'll do it with you or without you.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't no style. And she's like, what's your angle? Give me the fucking rifle. And he's like, I don't have an angle.
And I believe him. He
says, I'm gonna do this for you because whoever kills Pamela is basically gonna have to deal with the blowback. Yes. Because this is, it's like assassinating the president at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That person, regardless of how positive the outcome is, how terrible the president was acting, whatever the fuck, you get the death penalty. That they are coming. They need rules and laws, and one of them has to be you can't just fucking kill a sitting, leader of the city,
sitting governor, basically. Yeah. Yes.
And so he says, I'm basically gonna do it, and he said, she's like, why are you acting like this? And he said, because when I was on my knees last night and that warden was about to kill me, he said, I must have felt what you felt when I killed Glenn, like at least a little bit. And then shout out to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because he gave us some black acting school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he hit us.
It's Hollywood's first black acting school. It teaches you everything.
He hit us with some real tears, and he was like talking about how sorry he was and apologized and says like, just all the, like it still was Negan, but it was like I know, like genuine remorse and regret.
Yeah, you could tell that it was sincere, and it was one of those things where he never thought he would be in those shoes. So when he felt it for the first time, he was like, well, damn, this is why the people had that rage at me and that unforgiveness towards me. I get it now.
And Maggie wasn't reacting this way out of like I love the way that she reacted to it, because she didn't go, well, all water under the bridge, hug this man and walk away. She's already taken his gun. She starts walking off, and then she looks back and goes, you coming? And so now we know they will go out to fight, to try to kill Pamela together with this rifle. But what I liked about this the most is that it solidifies Negan had a good plan, and it's a plan she would have done with anybody else.
Yes.
And this is a very human thing, and something, like I said, Walking Dead to me, it'll never get the due it deserves, but the just due, but it is the show that encapsulates humanity the most, because that is so many things in life where the wrong motherfucker has the right idea, and people are like, well then fuck it, let's just I'm not doing it. I'd rather do the hard thing and more people die than to do the shit your way and save everybody. Fuck yeah, I don't like you. You did something and I can't get over it. And I don't even blame you. It's human. We all have those moments.
We do.
Then we cut back to inside. Eugene is sitting inside, rubbing Max's feet. She done fell asleep. That's a good man right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, he know what he got.
He love that woman.
He know what he got. He not finna. He said
he not finna mess that up.
He done prayed many a night.
Didn't it all?
Okay, he said.
He was like, I wanted somebody to love me, child. I done long distance computer love. We done did it all. I got it here in front of me, and I ain't about to blow it.
So then, he looks over to Rosita, who's sitting with Coco, And he offers to take Coco for a while if Rosita wants to get some rest or something. But Rosita says she don't want to let her go. He talks about Coco and teaching her to swim in the summer.
Mhm.
And eventually, you know, as he's talking about these future plans and she's not really responding much.
Right.
He
pieces.
I
the
think he
shit.
already knew,
Mhm,
but this is his way of beating around the bush to get to it. He asked her basically, "Did you get bit when you fell down there with the zombies? I thought I saw you got bit," and she said she did.
And she showed him the spot.
Yeah, she showed him the bite, and the man, once again, full circle moments. That's what this episode was about to me. And when you consider where they came from, Rosita being with
Abraham,
this nigga being cucked,
watching
thinking
him
he should be with her, being in love with her, and then being a coward, a man that she could never love back in that way. And then the amount of shit and suffering they went through together. I remember when she was chasing him, trying to kill him when he was with the Saviors. Like, I remember that shit.
She was hot.
Like, she was going to fucking take this motherfucker off the planet, and I was totally with her for that shit. And so seeing this full circle moment where he says, like, I wouldn't be like, I think he said she comforted him. She swore him to secrecy because, you know, he's about to start blubbering and tell everybody.
Yes, he was.
And she said, "Don't tell anybody. I haven't told anybody yet. So don't tell anybody. I need this for me and for, you know, Coco, and I want to tell people on my own time." And then he starts crying. She comforts him and says, "You're going to be fine." And that's such a full circle moment because I remember when she wanted to kill him. And then they both say they love each other. And he kisses her forehead and they both cry silent tears. And he goes back over towards Max and she asks, "Is everything okay?" And I love this moment.
It was beautiful too. And also a lot of it comes down to, you know, it was, you know, 3 daddies and the baby. You know, and he was one of the fathers. Like, he cared for Coco a lot. Like, he's like been there day one. Like, I don't care if it's mine or not. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, we in this together. Like,
and it's not just Coco for me. He loves Rosita. He loves her.
Yes, he does.
And not on the surface level entitled love that we saw from him in like season 3. Right. I mean, he has fully learned to love this person like a sister.
Yes.
Like, it's not, "Oh, how come I don't get the fuck?" You know, he moved to Hilltop, you know, because he had a kind of jealous feeling about her and Gabe being together and shit. I remember that. And so seeing this dude come full circle, Max is the love of his life, and he has to go over here and check on his friend, and because he loves his friend. And there's something about that because we've seen this relationship go full, like, through every emotion.
Yes, we have.
So Daryl and Carol watch over Judith as she wakes up. Then that's when she says something about how Michonne told her about those words about "we're the ones who live." She had never finished the sentence the first time, but then she said something about how that means Michonne's never coming back, and she never wanted to tell Daryl that because she thought Daryl would leave and not come back.
Yeah, I think that was her interpretation of what.
Yeah, I just don't remember. It's possible. It's just been a long time, so I probably forgot some context that is missing. That if I would have remembered, I'd be like, "Oh, that's what she meant." And, you know, it's just been too long. But then Mercer gets in his binoculars, looks out the window, and sees Pamela and them are in the estates, and they are killing people who climb over the fence.
Yeah, regular ass people, not zombies, y'all. Like, regular ass people,
human beings who were just like, "Let us in."
And they was
the zombies are literally like
100 yards behind them,
a few football fields away, and they are acting like, "Oh, but if I let you in, I have to let everybody in. Then the zombies gonna get in." It like, they clearly easily could have let these people in, but they were cruelly not letting them in because they believe in the old ways of y'all poor. And Pamela was just looking at them the way Karen looks at the people in regular seats when we go to Hornets games.
Yeah, she was looking at them like that,
and I was disgusted by it.
She was looking like, could be me.
So then they go ahead. Mercer gets his gun and he says, "All right, Alexandrians, y'all done did a lot for us. All your people is safe right now. I'm gonna get y'all out of here so y'all can go back to Alexandria because I know this ain't y'all fight." and then I'm gonna go down there and handle this shit. And of course, our people being the people that we know they are was like, the fuck you mean?
Right.
We are not letting this shit go.
We in this together. This is personal.
Zeke gives one of them king speeches.
Come on.
You know, are we not a nation of laws or whatever the fuck he be saying?
Yes.
You know, like,
King Ezekiel was like, look.
Until all are free, none are free, brothers.
Come
like,
on.
He did everything but get his tiger and his motherfucking sword back.
Yes, I miss this tiger.
And so he basically says, look, we got your back. And then everyone one by one agrees, like, yeah, we staying, we going. And so we know when our motherfucking crew gets together, the Neapolitan crew, it's over.
Come on.
So the pools are outside the gate. And Mercer shows up with the troops and with our crew, and he's like, lower your weapons. And Pamela's like, arrest them. And Vickers' old coon ass, who at this late juncture, Vickers is this black woman with the tightest braids. This black woman is still a little confused as to if Pamela is out of her motherfucking mind. Like, what's right and wrong? You don't know what's right and wrong right now?
Just following orders.
This is so easy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pass-fail test, you know? And so Vickers is like, you know, looking like, oh, I guess we got to put our guns on Mercer too. And Mercer is like, well, we not lowering our guns and we all get shot. We just be shot inside the gates.
Yes.
And we had ourselves a good old-fashioned Caucasian standoff.
Yes, we did. A good old-fashioned one.
That's why I'm not calling it Mexican no more. I'm calling it Caucasian. Okay. Probably white people that did it. They just was in Mexico. So Pamela says, you traitor, to Mercer. And he's like, I know you are, but what am I? And he runs down the list of shit. He's like, I know you ain't talking. He's
like, bitch, I got the list.
You done kidnapped your own citizens, disappearing motherfuckers left and right.
Right.
You led this herd. You led them here.
Yes. Yeah, he learned that. Probably just talking to the people. Yeah, you led them here. This could have been all prevented.
You shot a kid. When you shot Judas.
You shot a kid.
And now you pulling the Gabe? Like he Gabe at his own church doors?
Yeah, that is a Gabe move, ain't it? Yeah, Gabe done came a long way too.
So once again, y'all, the chef's kiss to this next scene. Because who goes to open up the gate?
Gabe. Mm-hmm.
These niggas thought of everything, dog.
Because Gabe was like, I did it one time. I can't do it again. Mm-mm.
It had to be Gabe.
It had to be. Yes, because he locked them people out of that motherfucking church.
That's his full circle moment. That's that karma. That's that, you know, that second chance to get this shit right. And he didn't care about the cost because now the zombies are close. And he was like, he was under gunpoint.
Yeah, they was like, we have to shoot you. He was like, it is what it is.
Right.
But I'm going to open up this gate. I'm not going to sit here and watch these people die like I did before.
He said, I guess I'll be shot then. So y'all got to do what y'all got to do.
Yes.
And he goes to open the gate. He don't even have a key.
Mm-mm.
He about to shoot the fucking lock off the gate to let them people in. And Pamela demands he gets shot. She like, shoot him. And then Daryl tells everybody, stop. You better than this. We deserve better than this. This is the ghetto. You built this place to be like the old world, and that's the fucking problem.
Right.
You got one enemy. It's the zombies. He says, we ain't the Walking Dead. And I said, damn, they took that line from the comics and flipped it. Because it was, we are the Walking Dead, which was like mind-blowing moment in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get this opposite, we ain't the Walking Dead. And it's Daryl saying it, who is one of the most nonverbal people on the show.
The most nonverbal.
But I loved it.
Message.
It was one of my favorite lines. And then Vickers comes to her fucking senses and says, everybody lower your weapons.
Yeah, we ain't got to have no bloodbath.
She said, give the preacher the key. Let him open up the lock to the gate. She hands over command to Mercer, says, on your orders. And he says, arrest Pamela Milton for treason and insurrection. I said, oh, not a preview of what's going to happen with Trump.
Come on.
And then Negan and Maggie, who had the whole time have been
Been
looking
back
on
in
with
the
that
cut.
They have been in the cut looking on with that rifle about to JFK her ass.
Come on.
They was listen. If that shit would have worked a different way, Pamela would have just ended up getting shot in the middle. Everybody would be like, "What the fuck? Who did that?"
Who did that?
But no, they didn't shoot. And Negan says, once again, full circle moment. He goes, for somebody like Pamela, basically getting locked up is worse than death.
Yes.
And guess what? He would know.
Because if you die, it's over with. You got
because he spent that time in jail.
Yes, because
he was supposed to be he wanted to die.
Yes, and that's why I say, because with death, it's over with.
Yeah,
but you have to actually have to sit there.
I'm just
think
saying,
about it.
When I say full circle, I'm talking about this character being the one to say it. Anyone could have said it.
Yes,
I can say it. We always sitting home thinking it.
Yes, because he experienced that, right?
It's that full circle of like the remorse, the regret. It's honestly a great it's a great what do you call it? It's a great message for restorative justice, or like I said, this show does things to me that I feel like another show would be getting a lot of credit for doing, but I think it illustrates like this idea of like, look, man, killing people might not always be the right thing to do.
All right.
Like Negan's done a lot of things that he clearly did learn that lesson, no matter how horrible of a fucking person he was. I'm not saying real life works like that, but you know what I mean. Elijah makes it in because they let the people in the gate. He was in the zombie horde that was behind them. And so he and Jerry make it in. He hugs Lydia. So now she can stop being a mope.
Quit crying.
You got your dick back, girl. I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you. Jerry sees Zeke, immediately asks, "Where's Nabila?" And Zeke lets him know they safe. We're gonna get you back to Alexandria. Don't worry about that.
They're not here.
Pamela, they close the gate just in time for all the rest of the zombies get in. Pamela sees a zombie at the gate and walks towards it to let it bite her. She gets all emotional and shit because the zombie is Hornsby.
Yes, he walked his ass all the way back to her,
which is interesting because he only walked his way back to her because she ordered it. Right.
That's yeah. Right. And he still had the arrow in his neck. The arrow shot in his neck.
I'll tell you the motherfucking poetry on this show.
Yes, you did. Baby. This little thing called karma.
Oh, I love this episode.
She hadn't did that. She'd have never seen that man again.
If you're gonna get flowery with your pros and your points and your messages, this the episode to do it, the final one. And it was just hidden for me. I like all the little touches. It was so many little touches, but Hornsby as a zombie, the only reason Pamela's even seeing this nigga is because she fucking convoluted this whole shit, and then she felt like, this is my karma. I'm gonna let him take me out. I'd rather die.
Yeah, right.
Than go through the punishment of being locked up as a prisoner, put on trial and all this shit. All the people she done fucking had killed and slaved and all this shit. And Judith tries to tell her to stop. She's like, it's not too late. It's never too late. And we know Judith would believe this because she's seen what happened with Negan. So, and she's still a kid,
Right.
And the lessons that she's been talking about between her brother, between Michonne, and between Rick are all these overarching themes of like mercy prevailing over wrath. We need to start building stuff, stop destroying stuff. It's time to save each other, put our lives on the line. And then as Pamela's about to let herself get bit, the zombie gets shot from a long way away.
And everybody looking like, what happened?
Maggie and Negan done shot the motherfucking zombie. And Maggie, after shooting the zombie, looks at Negan and goes, and now we take back this place.
And I think Negan's words impacted her.
Yep. All right, let's play another commercial song, and then we'll be right back. So we come back, we get a voiceover from Mercer, and it's basically his plan on how they're gonna take back the Commonwealth. And they basically, we see like the actions as he's talking about them. They send a certain crew out with riot shields and weapons. They clear a path and attract some of the walkers away from an area where they get a truck. The truck drives off. It goes to the fuel depot. The fuel depot, they collect all this like gasoline and flammable shit. And then on the PA system, they start playing loud rock and roll music to draw the walkers to the estates. And they're gonna pour fuel down the sewer, and then you obviously blow all this shit up. And the song they was playing,
Nigga, I recognize that song. I was like, word.
It was Living Color, Cult of Personality. What the fuck?
I did not see that coming.
Did not see that coming. It was, oh my God, what a full circle moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe they know we listen to the show. I don't know. Maybe they know that they listen to our podcast. I don't know. I won't put nothing past nobody, but it felt like they said, this for y'all.
This is for you.
And so of course it almost looked like some of the zombies was rocking to it. Like
it probably was.
Like, I don't know if they had fun with it over there or whatever, but it's like you could kind of loop some of them zombie walks to that exactly to the beat of the song. And so when the record goes off, because they had an old school record up, when the record stops, they have made the record player so that it will touch these two metal pieces that basically conduct electricity to start a spark. And they blew the motherfucking estates all the way up.
Yes, they did. And it was such a cool blast. Like everything blew up, shot on fire, shit was falling and tumbling. And because I was like, oh yeah, they put them up underneath the tunnel. So
yeah, even the sewers exploded.
Yes, yeah, so literally everything was covered in gasoline.
You see, my dear sister, for society to start over and to be fair, Sister Karen, all the hoarding of wealth had to die. You see, the oligarchs and the plutocrats and the anarcho-capitalist grifters all had to go in order for society to be better off, to be more fair to our brothers and sisters, our dear brothers and sisters down there in the slums, so that we all could have equal shares. Because capitalism and the people that run it essentially are the real walking dead in this thing, because their souls are dead, Sister Karen. Their souls are already gone.
Message.
So in her cell where she going to jail, Pamela tells Carol and Daryl, like, it's so hard to run things. Now y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna be just like me.
She don't know who she talking to.
Evil people always think you're gonna be like them.
Yes.
Now that you in charge, you're gonna have to kidnap people. And she's like, no, the fuck we won't. Shut up.
We've ran whole ass communities before.
She's like, you're gonna have to make ugly decisions. Carol's like, we already made an ugly decision, keeping your punk ass alive.
Come on, Carol was like, everybody, like, if it was up to me, you probably would have been dead.
Right. Like, that's already an ugly decision, because we no one likes you. Okay. She said we all done ugly things, which is
no one like you or your haircut.
The only reason you're alive because we all had to do ugly things to survive, but your ass going to jail. And at least we don't have to worry about who gets your house, because her house was the one they blew up.
Yes.
And you could tell that hurt Pamela. Maggie and Negan have a heart to heart, I guess you could call it. And she just basically breaks it down. She's like, listen, I appreciate what you said. I heard what you said. I thought about what you said. I can never forgive you, even though you did apologize. And she talks about how great Glenn was and how when she thinks about him, he was this, and this. But when she see you, all she can think about is how you killed him and how you taunted me while he was dying, while you killed him.
And while she was talking, I was like,
yes,
he did.
Yes.
Taking
it like a charm.
Yes. Picking at him and shit like that. Like he was horrific.
Still one of my favorite episodes of the Walking. I know it's everyone's least favorite. Oh God, one of my favorite. I might have lost friends over that. I don't give a fuck. I don't regret it. I was right. That was great TV. It's the kind of great, I don't know if I could watch it again. That's how visceral it felt. It did something to me emotionally. It's the height of television, and I know everybody, it folded for everybody else, but nah, nigga, That day I said, this show ain't like these other shows. They
It's
drug it
not.
out, but god damn when they did it. That Negan was so good. I only wish it had happened under Angela Kang where they doing all this cussing right now. Because I feel like Negan talking shit and cussing would have been even better than what we got, at the time. But that taking it like a champ.
Oh, he was terrible.
And then Glenn like, I will find you. Oh, so emotional, so good. Oh, I wanted him to die so bad after. Oh man, so good. Anyway, so but yeah, obviously she's like, I want to try to forgive you. And I love her reasoning for this because it wasn't like because I'm a good person or because you deserve it. And this is, I feel like all forgiveness is selfish. All of it. It's not, and I don't mean selfish in a bad way. I just think by definition to save yourself, forgiveness to me, I can't speak for y'all.
Right.
I know you have your own belief system listening to this, and whether I believe in your belief system shouldn't really matter to you. But in a lot of cases, I feel like people are in denial about needing to forgive people. You can kind of hear it when you talk to them and be like, oh, you're never going to be over this until you learn to let this go. And whether let it go is forgiveness for you or whatever, but a lot of people just don't let shit go and it drags them down. It's like tying an anchor to yourself. And then you're drowning being like, well, the answer is definitely not letting go of this anchor, right? It's definitely not what's dragging me down. And I loved her reasoning because I agree with this. She's like, I want to be able to let this go because I don't want to give you more control and power over me.
Correct.
Because even hating the motherfucker is somehow giving them a little bit of power. Like,
yes, because they control and they manipulate you when y'all in each other's presence.
Like you're not as in control of your actions as you normally would be because you're still more worried about them and how things look with them and how to make, like how she was not with this plan to kill Pamela only because it came from him.
Yes.
And she said she don't want her son to see that shit either.
Right, because she know that she could be impacting him and shit like that. And so for that, I completely understand. And I agree with you. Everybody's different, but I know for me, I am of the belief of forgiving, but that's just me personally, because I know how not forgiving impacted me tremendously.
For me personally, that's the way I'm set up. I'm not saying everybody's the same, but whatever. I love the writing for this. And then she says him and Annie can stay. They don't have to leave.
Right. They've earned it, which makes sense.
But she said, if you see me while I'm not talking to you, I'm not fucking with you, understand that it's because I can't move on. And that's why, because of what you took from me, and that I'm never going to be like over this shit. I'm never going to forgive you, but I don't want to have to hate you every day. And then we fast forward to, they have a wonderful dinner. Everybody's just going,
eating all the Pamela shit.
Just having a good time. Everybody's eating nice.
Like a Christmas holiday party.
People are laughing. And I thought like, oh, this must be months later or something. No, it was like that night. Or maybe the next day or something. I assume that night though, for reasons I'll bring up later. But they have a wonderful dinner. They laugh and smile. They toast to Luke. Daryl looks at Negan, who's outside walking away, and gives him like the head nod of acknowledgement. Like when two black people work in corporate America and see each other on the elevator. That one. And Rosita is still there. I'm like, oh, okay, so it couldn't have been too fast of a time jump. Magna and Yumi finally make up and kiss. So they're going to try to get that thing working again.
Yep.
Rosita finally tells Gabe, I got bit. And we don't see her do the whole thing, but we can see from the context clues she got bit. And we do see Judith.
Yeah, because she happened to be looking over there in that direction. I was like, yeah, Judith pieced that together.
Judith understood.
Cause she's not a normal ass kid.
So then we get this really, somber scene where it's Rosita and Coco in the bed, like laying, the baby laying in the bed sleep. Rosita's laying next to her. And now it's obvious that, everybody knows what happened, that she got bit.
And Carol and Maggie bring her into the room.
Yeah. And so
I think this scene right here was very, very sweet. It was very kind. You know what I'm saying? Because this character has been on for a very long time, and I think they basically respected the death. And I was like, I appreciate this.
And you don't get a lot of these deaths where you get to say goodbye. It's normally look like Jules and Luke. And so everybody pays their last respects basically while she's still here. You know, like I think like who came over first? It was yes, a couple people said came over first. I think it was Carol and Maggie. Then Gabe prays over her soul, and then he takes baby Coco, and then Eugene sits with her.
I think he was the last person.
Yeah, you know, of course he know that, you know,
they're like best friends. Yes.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you made me the man that I am, and I wouldn't be the man I am without you.
I'm like, that's a true statement, sir.
Yep. And then Daryl watches from the door. Eugene thanks her, and then we cut away. We never see like someone pull out a knife or whatever to like make sure she doesn't turn into a zombie. And then Rosita just kind of like passes out, and Eugene cries, and then we fast forward.
I appreciate that. That made it very soft and very sweet. And I think it was a great way for a character that has such an impact on the show, because she has been there for a very, very long time. She's been there since like Alexandria. Like, she's been there for a hot fucking minute.
Yeah, she was just a stalwart of the show. And one of my favorite characters, because we got to watch her go through everything. And the actress that played her, we watched her like play. It felt like she played 6 different versions of Rosita. And I loved all of it, you know. Even when she was like on my nerves, out for revenge Rosita, I still loved her. You know, when they were trying to play cool with the saviors, and she was like, man, fuck that.
And Coco, both her parents is gone.
And
she
like
got step parents. The 2 daddies left.
Well, she remember they also had that dude. I want to say his name was like Sadiq or something, but him. I mean, she's got Gabe still.
Yes, that's say the 2 daddies, because it was 3 daddies.
Yeah. Abe is gone too. I feel like Abraham would have protected Rosita. You know, that was her original man.
That's true, but I was talking about like with her being pregnant and all that stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just saying, like, she was a bad one. Okay, there's a lot of people trying to get some of that Rosita. Okay, but you know, she passes. We cut to the grave site of Rosita, Jules, Luke, and someone named Marissa, who I just don't remember the character.
And up in the corner, it says 1 year later.
I was literally about to say that. So it's been a year. Eugene has a fresh baby with fine ass Maxine. The baby's name is Rosita, basically Rosie. Which it makes sense he would name his baby Rosie. Okay. And so Zeke gives a speech with fine ass Mercer standing there. At first I thought that Mercer might have been getting married or something.
I did too initially.
Yeah, because they both got on like suits. They're standing in the front. And of course, you know, Zeke is giving his like governor's speech, and then he thanks his bag. He thanks his lieutenant governor, Mercer.
Yes. His one was like, yay!
Yeah, Princess is like, that's my man.
Yes, I love me some Princess.
I do too.
She is a chilling one-woman chilling squad.
So then it seems like they're maybe commemorating the day that they took the Commonwealth back, which is why a year later, maybe it's like their kind of 9/11.
Right.
Connie and Daryl hug. We got a lot of like reunions here. Daryl seems to be coming back from out, they call it the frontier, where I guess he must be, you know, out there searching for more people or something. I don't know. And she's working as a journalist, holding everybody accountable at the Commonwealth. And he's like, it had to be you, you know. And it's interesting because I always get the vibe that they like each other, but they never really like fully fleshed that relationship out.
No, they didn't.
And I don't know if that's something they're doing with the Daryl spinoff show or what. And I've always felt like Daryl gives like almost an asexual vibe, except when he was around Connie.
Yes. So that's the only time you see him crack.
Yeah. Even that chick that like was his ex or whatever, it never really felt whatever to me. Maybe if they had some flashbacks, it would have felt that way. But it always felt like just business friends.
Yes.
So anyway, Lydia and Elijah have a package for Judith. They've also been out, like it looks like they're almost couriers or something.
Yes, they're the UPS service. between the places.
Well, she knows what Brown can do to her.
Apparently, she
between
does.
the places, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So they have a package for Judith. It's a compass that she gave to Negan a long time ago, and it's a letter from Negan where he thanks her for the compass and says it always helped him find his way, and he hopes it'll guide her to her dreams. A very kind thing for him to say. And then Gracie and Aaron come over, and RJ's there, and they like all the kids. Judith and Gracie hug, and Lydia gives Gabe a package from a dude named Father Grant with a different congregation.
I was like, oh shit! Now we got more than one congregation now. They really grew.
He's now. I guess they got the money for the building fund to open a new church.
Yes, they do.
Jerry and Nabila walk together. Carol comes over looking like Martha Stewart. Carol,
come on, should have cut all her hair off again. She went back to season 1.
Well, once Carol gets like, once Carol can get out of Killer Carol mode, she typically assimilates pretty well. Like, it's never that she lets her guard down, but she's like, okay, I can be Susie Homemaker right now. Like, everything is cool. You can tell how things are going in the community by how Carol is dressing.
Yes, and I look for her hair.
If Carol, you show up and Carol got on like a camo hoodie, shit is going bad.
Yes, it is.
So then Carol, we find out that Maggie says she wants to talk to Carol and Daryl about the future. She wants them to go out and find out about more stuff. This is kind of a vague thing, but I think it's more of a like, in case you want to do the spinoff, we'll just say that's what people are doing. And she's got, and I keep thinking like, so if y'all go out and look for more stuff and see what's out there, are y'all gonna run into the nuclear wasteland from Fear the Walking Dead? Like, what are we doing about this?
Depending on how far you go out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where exactly is that in the United States, and how far is that from where they're at? Because you have to start asking some questions, and I do want to see what if that's ever gonna be a thing. You know,
that's true.
So then, Carol is not going with Daryl. He says he's proud of her for taking Hornsby's job and making it her own.
Right.
So I guess she's running the underground spy network outreach program, but not killing people or enslaving other people's cities.
Right. That's what it sounds like she's doing. Yeah, she's going out recruiting and shit like that. Right. That's how you get a UPS service. People's taxpayer money is going to that.
Judith is going to stay there too and keep an eye on Dog. Daryl promises that if Rick and Michonne are out there, he gonna find them and bring them home. Judith says he deserves a happy ending too, and he says he'll be back. Him and Carol exchange I love yous. Once again, their friendship 10 to 10, love them. And then he rides off on his motorcycle because Daryl gonna be on a motorcycle because Norman Reedus need to be on a motorcycle. Okay,
a motorcycle and him go together.
Then we get this montage that it was Rick and Michonne writing letters, and it's their voiceover. I didn't even bother to write it all down because it's too much to write down. But it's a montage of all the characters who died over the last 11 seasons.
Yes, and boy, they brought back flashbacks and memories of all the people. I was like, yeah, T-Dog.
Yeah.
Yes, they went back.
Tyrese. It was a great in memoriam. And it's them giving a speech about how, they know, like the letters are basically to, like, I think Rick's letter seemed like it might have been to Michonne, and I think Michonne's was to Judith and RJ.
Yes.
I think that's how it went, but I don't remember 100%. And then finally, when the letters are, we cut to Michonne looking fine in a new costume fit leather ensemble.
Come on.
Okay. The drip. Sitting by a fireplace, and they're not together, because at first I thought maybe the twist was gonna be when they get done writing the letter, we cut and they both somewhere together, but that wasn't what happened.
No, while one talking, they're looking at some stuff that they have from the other one. So while Michonne's talking, she's looking at like kind of familiar stuff from Rick, and while he's talking, he's looking at stuff from her.
Right. So we hear Michonne say that she knows RJ and Judith are back there, and that she's gonna come back to them, and that Rick is out there somewhere because she's gonna find him, and he knows that she's trying to find him.
Yes, and also something that she says too. She said that she figured out she's out of range because she can't, reach
Right.
anymore, which makes sense to why you just hadn't heard from her,
Right.
because she literally, time wise, she's probably been gone for a hot minute.
Well, we had seen the last we saw her, she was going up north to what looked like maybe New York or something.
Right.
And so then Rick is at a riverbank with no shoes on.
First time we seen, he noticed he cowboy boots down. So the first time I seen him with no shoes.
He has no shoes on, and the mud and the water have zombies in it. Like zombie heads, all kinds of shit. It was very cool special effects and gross. And then Rick, it looks down bad. He's covered in mud. And a helicopter pulls up on him and says, "Consignee Grimes," meaning like I don't know if he's a slave, he's a prisoner, but he ain't free. And it looked like maybe he's trying to escape. And the guy's like, come out and surrender with your hands up. And
so would not be surprised this is Magic at the Cast that he's probably tried to get away before and they just keep finding them and shit.
Something,
Right.
whatever. People have tried to escape. It looked like he was trying to escape.
Yes.
And that would make sense because he had no fucking shoes on.
And while they was talking before they got close enough, he took the bag and like literally tossed it up on a boat.
Yeah. And so maybe he's hoping someone will find what's in the bag and help find him. So maybe that's what Michonne will do at some point. But
right.
The dude on the PA goes, "Come on, Rick. It's like I told you. It's like he told you. There's no escape for the living." So we don't know who he is, but obviously some bad shit is afoot. Michonne, we then see on horseback with the new fit, and it's got a ninja hood to it too.
Looking like a samurai.
Yeah, she on a horse with the sword, chopping these motherfuckers up, man. Oh, it's so cool. And then we get a montage of all these characters saying we're the ones who live, as Rick is giving himself up to the helicopter, raise his hand, and the camera finally cuts so we can see what's in front of him, and it's what looks like the outline of New York City.
In the distance, yes.
Yeah, then we see Michonne ride on horseback toward a huge amount of walkers, and then finally we cut to Judith and RJ at Alexandria looking out past the gate, and she says, "We get to start over. We're the ones who live." And that's the end of the motherfucking show.
And one cool thing, I know this might sound minute, but one cool thing I like about this shot is that the stormtroopers, their armor was the scarecrows in the background. That was really neat touch.
It was. Anyway, I loved it. It was such a great ending.
I really enjoyed this show.
I'm glad we did it. Thank you, everybody who's reading this with us. I know it's not many of you left. And I know it took us longer than anybody else to get to the end of this shit. But I appreciate y'all sticking it out with us.
Appreciate y'all sticking out.
And I really want to give a big shout out to the audience, because when I tell y'all no one spoiled anything for us, like we have been waiting on doing this. People have been hoping we would do it. And when I got back from New York, I was kind of like a little wiped out, man. I've been
tired,
traveling, doing the show for writing a TV show for 2 seasons, came back, signed up to do Drapetomaniacs. That turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Even though I enjoyed it. And like as a community, as like a fan base, the fact that no one was an asshole, y'all, many of y'all asked would we do it, but everyone was very polite about it.
They were.
Even the ones that were a little rough about it, they weren't like, "Hey, motherfucker." It was like a, "Come on, man, please," And this is for y'all, man. This is because we love our fans, dog.
Yes,
real talk.
Yes, and thank you for the fans that's been writing in and be like, "I appreciate y'all finally covering this." So we know that y'all waited for us. We appreciate that.
Yeah, because I could have just as easily watched this shit in my own time, not did any recaps, and at least I would have just been like y'all. I would have known what happened and been like the end, but it was important, to try to keep that promise to y'all.
Yes.
And, like I said, we appreciate the patience, because I know, this shit is over a year after this is a year after the show.
I guarantee you, we the only people still doing recaps.
So that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. The rest of y'all, come on back. This is the last 1, so I guess Wednesdays will go back to normal, and y'all
normal
can
numbers. Y'all can come
get
back
y'all
and join
normal
the crew.
podcast shit on. But low key, you gonna miss that we don't do this on Wednesday, because this is the main reason we ain't take no weeks off the last 8 weeks.
That is true.
I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta do the recap Wednesday, so we might as well do a show on Monday.
Yep.
You know. And now get back to my motherfucking take a week off every month thing. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Love you.
Love you.
Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Y'all have a good rest of your night.
Peace.
Peace. Thanks for riding with us.